Wow, look at all these beautiful, amazing people here today. Hello, everybody. My name is Kristen Gutierrez, and I am the co-host for today's masterclass. So I don't know you the way Yuka knows you. So go ahead and tell us in the chat where you're calling in from and what you're hoping to get out of today's masterclass. Because how many of you would love to live in abundance of both time and money? Say, I do, or nod your head, shake your hands at me. I know I would. In fact, I practice this every single day. I am safe to receive money, truckloads of money. I am safe to buy back my time. I am safe to love. Okay. And here in just 1 minute, I might be playing a quick video sharing what other about Yuka. But while we get started, I wanted to share with you that scientific research proves we retain only about 20% of what we hear. Isn't that wild? And the reason is because we are constantly bombarded and distracted by pings and notifications and all types of other things going on. So we ask that while you're here, tell us where you're calling in from in the chat, and then I'm going to give you some ground most out of our time together. All right. Somebody say that sounds good. Um, Now I see that we've got somebody from Atlanta and we've got California in the house and we have Palm Beach Gardens and we have Orlando and we have Southeast Florida. There is Florida people in the house. I love Florida. I used to live in Delray Beach, and then I lived in Pompano Beach, and now I live in Long Beach.
She's using scissors.
Oops, we're just gonna mute everybody. One
Oh
second.
my goodness.
All right, there we go. All right, so in order to retain more of what goodness Yuka is going to share with us today, we ask that you raise your hand and share takeaways. And the reason is because this scientific research, it shows that when we speak the words out loud of, talking back to me or to your peers here in the room, then our retention goes from 20% all the way to 80%. Isn't that amazing? So let me just quickly introduce myself, and we're going to bring Yuka onto stage. My name is, again, it's Kristen Gutierrez. I am known as the Say Yes Queen. I'm a two-time best-selling author, three-time award-winning entrepreneur, and I'm just so truly honored to be sitting here with you all today, helping to co-host this event. You guys are in for a real treat. Somebody say treat in the chat. Oops. We got to just keep everybody muted. Okay, so you guys ready? I'm gonna introduce Yuka, and we're gonna get this party started. Somebody say, that's okay, Kristen. That's okay. Yuka has a $15,000 VIP day. Somebody say, oh my gosh. She used to feel stuck, overworked, and undervalued. She spent years in corporate accounting, working with world-class organizations like Sony, Hitachi, ING, Kawasaki, and Ernst & Young. After graduating from the Ernst & Young, she served Fortune 500 companies in accounting and reporting and internal controls. Yet, deep down, she knew she was meant for more. She was trapped in back-to-back meetings, chasing someone else's goals, and constantly wondering if she was playing the game, but never really winning. Does that like wave at me? I know I feel that in my core. And that all changed with COVID, homeschool and remote work combination. When she started seeing life the way she has it, not because of circumstances, but because she created new opportunities through her decisions. She poured all of her energy into finding the bluebird of happiness within her. I love that. And through that process, she became a life coach, serving powerful women and secret burnouts or with secret burnouts, wearing multiple hats. Like, hello, who else here is like wearing multiple hats? That she had like a more easier life and it was more in line with her true self. So she's known as the owner of Success Shaper. Write that in the chat, Success Shaper. And she's a life coach. She's certified in high performance coaching and certified life coach in the John Maxwell method of coaching. So if you're ready, your next level isn't waiting because you are next. Please join me in welcoming Yuka Simmons to the stage.
Thank you, everybody. So I have a question. How many of you wants to live in your own version of heaven? Raise your hand. Life with more time, more freedom, and more ease, and more joy with people you love. Now, how many of you feel like you're living in a hell where time is scarce and money feels limited and you are stretched thin and deep down you feel disconnected from yourself? I have lived in both. And the gap between them isn't luck. It's understanding how most of us were never thought of. It is about how our subconscious runs our show behind us. No matter how your mind is thinking, your subconscious is working to create your own life. So, okay, those of you who don't know me yet, I think everybody here does, but I may be distributing this video, so allow me spare the moment with me. My name is Yuka Simmons. I come to the United States from Japan 1994. I am success and life coach with accounting background. I'm a CPA. I started out in audit at Ernst& Young a while back. Some of you know me from that period, and was deep into accounting in the corporate world for almost 30 years. I'm a single mother, real estate investor, and a volunteer at the Boy Scout, Bible Study Fellowship, and church. So many other little roles too. So like many of you, women and men, I have become a pro at being busy and working for everybody around me. And I left myself behind. But I recently graduated from symptom of I don't have money or I don't have time. And my life becomes so much easier since I get control back into my hands. Phew. Actually, remembering this makes me feel really tired. So can you do this with me? Shrug your shoulder all the way up to your ear and send it all the way back and then drop it. And you feel your sternum going up. You guys look so beautiful in this posture. Do this because it lifts you up instantaneously. So when you're tired, this is what you do. Okay. Let me go back to my plan. Is it okay for me to share a bit about my journey and how because I've been where you may be before, and then is that okay? If it's okay, please type yes in the chat. Yay. Okay. So for years, I worked hard, checking all the boxes, job, corporate letters, families, responsibilities, but deep inside, I felt stuck, like something was missing. How many of you felt stuck in either busyness of your life or something is missing? Raise your hand. No matter how much I earned or how much I achieved, I still felt scarcity. Like there's never enough time, there's never enough money, or there's no freedom. I mean, a little bit, but not enough freedom. And then it come COVID. One day I was at home homeschooling my son, working remotely, juggling everything as, I've learned to do so in my life. I quote myself, tell my son to be quiet so I can work. And then at that moment, I hated myself. That was like a huge resentment moment for me because the truth hit me. The work I was doing to give us a good life was becoming the excuse to avoid the most important thing in my life, which should be me and my family. I am a unit of two. It's just me and my son. And for me to be yelling at my son to be shut up for my work, what's wrong with this picture, right? So decision was made very quickly. My son won't be in the third grade forever. He's now ninth grade now. He's studying downstairs. By the way, making decision quickly is the right move because Napoleon Hill said, successful people make decision quickly and change very slowly, sticking to it, right? And then not successful people make decisions slowly and miss a lot of opportunities and change mind quickly. So I think I tapped my shoulder and said, okay, good job making quick decision. But the moment sent me to a mission. I don't know if I did this right, but I spent over $75,000 in the classes, seminars, masterminds, with Tony Robbins, Eileen Wilder, Rob Dial, John Maxwell. Like there are multiple Japanese teachers training. They were all beneficial, but the investment of time I put in was scary amount too. It would be like two 24-hour sessions every other week, 4 days straight. I think Tony Robbins was one of the crazier one that like go on to like 2 a.m. And then I realized I probably didn't have to do that. But I also noticed when I made investment of money, like between the time when I make a payment to the classes starting, that's when the bulk of the transformation had happened for me. Then I realized where I put the money is where my energy flow. Where your focus is, energy flow. This is it's the same as what the Matthew 6:12 in the Bible said, where your treasure is, your heart will be also. So the largest shift in me happened when I paid the most and become committed to be a pro. And a lot of my mentors said, "You're doing great." I realized I must look good for them, but I was still struggling internally after all those money. But the real turning point come when I learned about subconscious mind. I actually was intended to have this class over a year ago when I signed up as Eileen Wilder because I knew what to do. I was ready to do, but I could not do the outreach. I could not decide on what to talk about. I could not decide on who my audience is, and everything was stopping me. Yet everybody's telling me, you're doing great. So I needed to quickly figure out what is it? What's stopping me? And then I ran into the study of subconscious. You know that our subconscious is automatically creating our current reality. Our emotions, the very one we're trying to avoid, are not just in your head, but it lives in your body. We have a phrases like guts feeling, heavy heart, your blood is boiling when you're angry. So did you know your emotions live in the subconscious? And emotions are felt in the body. So I can go deep in full body theory another time, but we can consider our body into four parts. It's the soul, it's up there, and the thought, it's in here, and emotions in the body, and then the actual physical body. And then this is one of the key learning that helped me clarify me inside of me. That in the interest of time, I won't go deep into this today, but I would talk about it in any other opportunities. So I realized I had spent years becoming a pro at ignoring pain and an uncomfortable feeling. And the crazy part is, what I discovered is if I, if you committed to feel your feeling, a lot of fear subside because on the other side of fear or other side of feeling, there is a peace. So I apply this to my money story too, because I know 80% of people's stress is about money. And I saw my own mother health decline from worrying about the money because she had the block coming from her self-worth, and this was her default. She told me she grew up in a poor family. So she went, when her health was a little bit bad, she went straight back into her old subconscious level of, I don't have enough. But so she had to realize she's got a me, she's got my brother, she's got a things to get rid of in her house, meaning she's wealthy. But looking at her, I realized this is the real work. I need to start talking to people, and this may be the space where I can serve people. So if we can understand how our subconscious works and accept our emotions and rebuild our self-value, life doesn't just get easier, but it gets very meaningful. So that's when I created my framework, one that I now teach high achievers, leaders, and entrepreneurs stacking the silent burnout. So I'm going to do the little rundown on my system. So step one is decode the matrix. This is,
Wait, should we take some, sorry to
oh,
interrupt. Let's take some takeaways from that incredible story before you get all into it. Does
oh,
that work?
okay, great.
Yeah, because I keep seeing all these things going in the chat and I want to acknowledge them. So you guys are playing full out already. Give yourselves a round of applause. What I want to do is I want everybody to raise their virtual hand, and it's going to look like this. All right. Or if you can't find it, it's buried in Zoom somewhere. Wave at me. And then we want to speak out loud what we were talking about at the beginning, which is like takeaways. And we want to anchor what Yuka was telling us into what it means to us. And there was just so much goodness in there. And then I also ask if Betty, we will come to you. Was that I saw your hand raised, Betty? We're gonna come to you.
Oh no, I was just playing with the
Oh,
React. I was making
okay.
sure that it worked.
Yeah, it works. Okay, cool. All good. Um, and then also I would say, like, if you've worked with Yuka or if you wanted to share some words about her, this is also a great time. We're gonna anchor what she's about to teach us in all of this goodness. Okay, Kataya, is that how you say your name, friend?
Oh, I think you're talking to me,
Yeah.
Katya.
Katya. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
welcome, welcome.
I answer to all things. And I apologize. My internet connection is really unstable. So this having no video will probably keep me on here longer. My takeaway, one thing, I mean, I put a bunch of stuff in the chat, but I just love, Yuka, when you said, if you commit to feel your feelings, the fear subsides. And I'm paraphrasing, so I don't know if that's exactly how you put it, but that's how I received it. And I love that because it's so true. And I found in my own life, like those moments when I'm feeling resistance towards wanting to feel bad in whatever that lower emotion is, that's like the thing that keeps it going on indefinitely. So I love that you brought that up. And that was just like the perfect reminder and really just the perfect confirmation too, that if you just allow yourself to feel it, then it really can start to dissipate. So that's my takeaway. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Such a good takeaway. I know there were so many comments in the chat, like from what you were sharing. So, okay, Melinda, what was your takeaway?
I love Yuka. She is amazing at just, oh man, really embodying what many of us already feel. And she's experiencing it. And what I loved about what you shared earlier is the story about your son. And he wanted time with you, which is why you were working so hard, is to have more time with him. It's like, this is something that spoke to me because we're working so hard and as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, and do we actually make time for the people we're making time for? So I really love that story. And I love the fact that you invested in what you wanted. Like you knew that you needed a coach in order to unlock. Like it wasn't just, well, let me figure it out myself. You wanted to work with the best of the best. And that's why you're here. And I'm just so grateful that you are so willing to share all of your insights and value with us here.
Thank you. It touched me.
That's what a profound statement that you had. We were so busy being busy. I had put that in the chat that that's so relatable, but Melinda really brought that home with like the irony. It is, I have children and it's like, oh, Yuka, I can't wait for you to set us free on this training because none of us need to be working harder just to not be just to be sacrificing the time that we're trying to have with the people who matter most. So Melinda, thank you. Anybody else have a takeaway or a comment to share? We will do this throughout the training. So she's about to tell us her system overview, and then she's going to go through it, and it's going to be fun and interactive. The more interactive you are, the easier and more effortless this will feel for everybody. Rebecca, is that you saying you wanted to share a takeaway?
Yes. Yes. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. So my name's Rebecca O'Neill. I was a co-worker of the great Yuka Simmons during her heyday at Ernst & Young. We had an instant connection. She also connected with another colleague of mine who I still keep in touch with. I was really excited to be on this call because I'm in a transition period after 35 years of service at Ernst & Young. They had a transformation. And so I opted because of my years of service to pivot, which was unexpected. And I just turned 60 and I said, I'm still young. And so anyway, that Yuka reached out during this pivotal moment in my career is amazing. So something that I will tell you that struck me right away that Kristen said was she said, hey, saying things out loud. And I've been doing that because, as Yuka said, tying it into what Yuka said about your subconscious, I had an interview yesterday and I felt phenomenal about it. And I've been very deliberate in what I put out there because I was like, I'm 60. I'm not ready to retire yet. I have a lot of energy. I want to pivot and do something else. So I'm very deliberate. But by the end of the day, after my 9 to 10 interview, I went from up to down. And that was all because of my subconscious. And I was like, hey, keep it positive, keep it positive. And so I realized that. So I went from high to low by the end of the day. And when I went to bed a bit depressed, I got on YouTube to find somebody and I was speaking out loud all these positive affirmations. And let me tell you, it turned me around speaking out, because I think a lot of us deal with imposter. What is it called? Imposter, what's the other word?
Imposter syndrome?
Syndrome. Yeah. So anyway, so, when you're going for a new job and you see all these things that they want you to do, and you're very capable, and I don't ever want to misrepresent myself. So all those messages are coming through to me. So, again, Kristen's saying, hey, say it out loud, speak it out loud. And that really changed me last night. I was able to go to bed, and then you have to let go of the outcome. You just have to, be in the moment, the now. And then with Yuka, to have known Yuka at Ernst & Young, which is a very high-performing organization, you would have never known she was struggling with anything. I just always thought she was amazing, and it was a privilege to know and work with her. So anyway, I've gained a lot in just this short amount of time we've been on this call, and I really appreciate this opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you.
Talk about right time, right place. Give it up for Rebecca. All of those profound takeaways packed into one. We all suffer from imposter syndrome and 100% need to detach from the outcome. So stay tuned. Philip, what is your takeaway, my friend?
Hey everyone, my name is Philip Chen. I met Yuka actually in like a coaching kind of training. So it was really cool to just meet with her, and I think we kind of hit it off pretty quick. Just her energy, and it's very infectious. So yeah, we just hit it off and became friends after that. But what really struck me the most was, what Yuka shared about, a lot of people struggle with money, and um, subconsciously that affects a lot of things. And I think, with money, that's honestly, it reveals where our heart is, and that's where our focus is at. So, if we're scared of money, and we're trying to figure it all out, and we don't know where it's going and not stewarding it well, that falls into our life, our everyday life, to our kids, or how we project our emotions out loud. And I think that part hit home the most. It's like so important, you know, just the thought of where the money goes, that definitely reveals our heart. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, well, Yuka, thank you for letting me interrupt you and allowing the room to share what they had heard so far from you. Okay, we are just getting started, so back to you on the system overview and what you're going to teach us today.
Okay, thank you for stopping me because I was going go, 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 go. That's my default status of like, okay, start getting busy. I want to go, 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 go because I secretly enjoy that. Although I tell myself, calm down, quiet down. But anyhow, so I'm going to go over quickly about my three-step system. So the first system, I named it as decode the matrix. This is because we need to identify what our subconscious root controlling your time. Like how is it operating behind us? Like what can we catch to stop this looping? And then second step is identify three. I am considering our life is kind of like navigation system. So it's you need to, I mean, when you program your car, I mean, navigation system, you put the goal as to where you are, but also it's taking the information as to where you are, and it's also considering the route of the safest way to get there. So what I discovered is important is where I am. I tend to do that in the money because money is the manifestation of where our subconscious is. It's the easiest window to inside of you. So we take inventory of money. I don't know, the insider joke, inventory observation is something the accounting people hate, but it's valid. We have to do it, okay? And when you don't understand where you are, it's really hard to project what your dream look like. Or when you are really busy day to day, it's really hard to undo what you can't see now to see your dream. So that's another process. But also, knowing how much you actually really need in order for you to survive and how much you need in order for you to have the dream happen is really important. So that's my step two. And this doesn't take that long. As long as it doesn't take as long as you tend to think. And then finally, the funnest stage is the step three. It's rewire for freedom. So in order for you to build your freedom, you need to have your self-value like raised up and open new possibilities and design a life that matches your soul instead of society's rule. That's the battle we have. Like we have learned so much from our societies, from parents, teachers, all those, you know, they meant so well, and they teach you the best they know how, but sometimes it doesn't go with what you need. And it's like I pulled out my son from school to homeschool. And the first thing I had to do is to de-school him. I have to teach him to that he's not going to be receiving the lectures anymore. He needs to be proactive. He needs to be not following the time schedule like he used to. He needs to be proactive on mastering his own time, and all that things needs to happen to rewire. So those are my 3 steps. And when I learned this, my mentor once told me, if you know what you know will help others and not sharing, it's greedy. So here I am. So if you're ready to stop living in a silent burnout and stop letting subconscious loop dictate your future, then if you're ready to step into your own heaven, not somebody or someday, then I would love to guide you through this doorway. Because the life you're working so hard is for what? Right? For you to enjoy this life. And that it is waiting on the other side of your very thing you've been avoiding. Let's stop avoiding and let's dive into experiencing the life the way it should be.
So good. Okay, I put the 3 steps in the chat to make sure I heard them and that everybody else did too, which was decide, the abbreviation. It was decide, identify, and rewire. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
cool.
That's it.
Did anybody have something that she heard from there? Because we're going to keep moving, but like I want to pause in case there was a takeaway. For me, it really is like the idea of the subconscious. Like I might say out loud, I'm ready to make millions because that's what's on my heart. But unless I reprogram myself to be safe and worthy to receive it, like I believe in this topic that you're teaching us so much. Like my comments in the chat are so genuine because it really, really, really resonates. Like what we say out loud has to be what we also internally, subconsciously believe. This is what she was just teaching us. This is my takeaway. And so we have to match our outward with our inner and get them both aligned. That is the biggest takeaway for me is I can't wait till you teach me wire step. Anybody else? Let's take one takeaway.
It's Rebecca. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
I'm
can.
sorry. I haven't mastered the hand on in the chat. So I just wanted to say that rewiring is really powerful because the person I was just looking for some inspiration to turn my negativity around, and they first said, "Hey, you have to say it and believe it. Let go of the past, in the future. You just have to say it, believe it." Because I'm trying to rewire my subconscious because a lot of people, and I do, I was raised by a negative parent, so I didn't even realize that I I had that in me until someone brought it to my attention, just saying, "Hey, you always accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative." So
Oh my gosh. I don't love the fact that a lot of us were raised in that negativity or had it influenced on us, but the fact that you're recognizing it now, it's never too late. So give it up for
right, oh no.
Okay. I was like begging Yuka, can I tell this quick story? Because I think it really cements what she's telling us. So there's this concept by a coach named Myron Golden. It's called the 4 levels of value. And I mean, this is going to cement what she's teaching us. So if you've heard it, play along anyway. And if you haven't, hopefully this will change the game for you. So there are 4 levels of value, and the The key is we want to start living in the top two levels, but the problem is we often get stuck in the bottom two levels. So let me tell you what they are. Level one is implementation. Somebody write that in the chat. Whether we are working for ourselves or just like managing a house, like managing Yuka's son to de-school him. I love this, like implementation. She was like, whoa, 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 I'm going to pull you out of school, but I'm not going to give you every single tiny little thing to do. You have to learn to do that yourself. So in effect, that was Yuka removing herself from the implementation. Often think of like your house cleaner or your gardener, or, tell me in the chat who else is an implementer. Your VA. I'll always say like I can outwork anybody, but there's this book by Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy called Who, Not How. And it's if you when you recognize, we all have implementation to do, again, like at work, in our corporate jobs, like at home, but how do we put the who in place to do the implementation? The painters I see in the chat, right? So that we're not stuck living in implementation, because implementers believe that the key to getting ahead is using their hands to make more money. But the problem is there's a cap. There's like $100,000 max that often implementers make. So the second level of value then is called unification. And a lot of us in corporate are or were unifiers. I was a VP of sales. Unifiers get paid to like organize people. Often it feels like herding cats. And the lie that unifiers are told is often they are getting another degree and another degree and another degree to get ahead. But nonetheless, there's a cap. And the cap, again, it's like $500,000 a year. So somebody say, that's not bad. But the second, the third, the two highest levels, these are the levels that set us all free. Herding cats, love it. Okay, so level one is unification. Level two is, I'm sorry, implementation, unification. And then let me tell you what level three and level four are. Level three is communication. This is where really the magic starts to happen. This is no matter where we are. Malcolm Gladwell says, 10,000 hours makes an expert. So we have all lived on this earth way longer than 10,000 hours. And so we are experts. And now it's time to step into this identity that Yuka has been telling us about, to claim the fact that, tap your chest and say, I am a communicator. Because communicators use their mouth or their voice to make money. Right? And our words carry influence. And so this is why we need to rewire our beliefs. Nonetheless, communicators, think actors, comedians, speakers, keynote speakers, musicians, communicators, politicians can make $100 million or more a year. And this is why we want to live in level three and level four, because whether your goal is multiple millions of dollars or we're just retiring with a good life, like whatever that means for you, having a bigger impact in the world, using your voice to make money is how you lean in to monetize your expertise. And then level four is the most exciting. It is imagination. And isn't it funny that just like society tells us debt is bad and money, it influences us with like money problems that we didn't even know we should have, right? Which is why we're in this masterclass to rewire ourselves. Society teaches us around 7 years old that we can't live in our imagination, that we need to live in the practical world. And we are here to say that that's not true. In fact, I challenge you, if nothing else after today, to go on an imagination walk or take a 30-minute nap in the sun and get some vitamin D while living in your imagination. Because the coolest thing about the imagination level, and then I'll pass it back over to you, but is that it's uncapped. Literally, like living in your imagination is why I own a Tesla, thanks to Elon Musk, or why Disney World exists, thanks to Walt Disney, is because they lived in their imagination to create things that didn't exist before. The light bulb exists thanks to the imagination, right, of the inventor, Thomas Edison, and all the people that came before him. So when you live in your imagination and when you use your voice to make, you to make a bigger impact, I'll say. That is where we can root what Yuka is teaching us with her 3-step system: decide, identify, and rewire, and really take things to the next level. So wave at me if you're willing to live in your imagination for the rest of today. If you're willing to let her and what she's about to teach us, like, influence us in the best way. Wave at me if you're willing to live. Thanks, Betty. Thanks, Melinda. Thank you, everybody. Okay, back to you.
Oh, where do I pick back up from that big topic? I love full level of value. I mean, that was life-changing for me. I heard it from you. I heard it from Eileen. I heard it from Maren Golden. I heard it from no matter how many times I needed to be reminded of, like, what level of action am I taking daily? Because when I get stuck on the implementation and unification level, I go to my familiar, I am busy. And then when I look at Kristen's face, because she used to teach me to go go imagine, celebrate. It's like, those are the two words that I'm so not familiar with. What are you talking about? But those are real important things that we cannot ignore. Like, we cannot say those are for kids. Imagination is how you create your future. If you can imagine it, you can achieve it. This, yeah. Anyhow, I wanted to say something about the negativities. And I think I was telling Betty the other day, one thing I do to change my mood is this. Because emotions, subconscious, all live in our body, and action is the quickest things to get you out of the stuckness. So I do the silly move of just turning around counterclockwise, and I tell myself I'm gonna be a good mood. I am. And then also your shrugging shoulder exercise. Do that frequently, because I think that was Tony Robbins that taught us the 2 millimeters shift up create a huge impact for your future. It may not, you may not feel it right now, but it does. If you have the right attitude and walking towards the right directions, the impact is tremendous. Anyhow, where was I? Um, do you want to know how to attract the money during with something? So when you think of money, I uh I used to say I don't have enough money. And somebody told me, okay, look around your room and see how much stuff you have. And if you have something you can declutter, that means you are super rich. But you spend the money on the things you don't like. So next time, be careful, because when you pour your energy, which is money, your thought, your everything, into something, into buying something that you don't particularly enjoy, then you didn't do a good job. So next time you spend the money at the grocery store, even supermarket, think of that. Um, well, where was I? Oh, yeah. So we did the 4 level of value. I can piggyback on the 4 level of value. So yeah, it's gold. And I do have my own version of my 4 level value, which I practice on Betty. So let me know if you would like me to share that also. Won't do it today, but I have that in my back pocket because that's such an important story for me. I want to ask you all a question. Have you ever felt like you are working so hard, yet no matter what you do, you keep bumping into the same invisible wall? Almost like life put you in a gold bowl, like goldfish bowl. I'm sorry, goldfish bowl, like in a little tiny section. So think of a goldfish in a bowl. To the fish, that's entire world. it doesn't even know there is an entire ocean beyond the glass. I mean, actually, the air beyond the glass and the possibly ocean beyond the air. But for the goldfish, it doesn't even know that it's in the water. I used to live in that bowl. I thought my limits were set by my parents, the society, the government, or even God himself. I was into punk music because of this in my teenage. But I believe money was scarce and time was scarce and opportunity only belongs to other people. Those are those lucky people that were born into wealth. I used to live in that bowl. I thought my limits are like unchangeable, but then something changed. My coach gave me a challenge. Sigo, try living on the responsible side for just a day and a half. I don't know why that was a day and a half, but the rule was like, don't blame, don't give up, don't feel ashamed, and don't justify and take responsibility. I was terrified. It's like I used to blame on everything, like including government and society. And then, like I even blame on God, like, God, why? So, like, how do I do that? But I tried my best. Every time I caught myself starting to blame another thing, I told myself, no, you can't do that. What can you do if you can't blame on other things? And that was life-changing experience for me. It was awkward for that day, but the next day I felt the freedom. I did not know that. That was a best kept secret for me. And I realized life wasn't happening to me. The life was happening through me. And if I created this life, I can recreate it. So now let's look at you. Scarcity show up in a really sneaky way. Do you think of those thoughts? I have three examples. Like, I don't have enough money to follow my dream. Or I can't risk leaving my job. What if I fail? There never enough time for me to do what I want to do. Any of those sounds familiar? Those aren't facts. Everybody has the same amount of time, same opportunities. They're lies we've learned, repeated so often that it feels true. And you're swimming in the bowl that somebody else built. It could be from a teacher, parent, societies, and you're oh, sorry, I got distracted. They meant super well. Your parents love you. Your teacher want you to do well, but they gave you the boundary to keep you safe. And it's also important to know our subconscious's number one job is to keep us safe. So there is internal conflict no matter what. And it's not just personal, it's everywhere. From when we were a kid, we were taught to focus on what's missing. Even in the past story of humanity, right? In the Garden of Eden, their focus was one thing they're lacking. They had everything else, but they needed to focus on one lack. So society was programmed us to live in the not enough. And yet, deep inside, your spirit also know the truth. You are designed for growth, abundance, and freedom. It's in the Bible. The conflict between wanting to stay safe and wanting to grow, that's the tension of the matrix that we are experiencing. So, but here's the secret. Once you see the glass wall, you can't unseen them. You saw it today. You can't unseen it. So you get to decide to keep circling in the bowl for a little bit longer or step into ocean. The matrix of scarcity isn't real. It's learned. And anything learned, you can be unlearned. You can unlearn. So your job is not to break yourself, but to break the bowl. And once you do, you will realize freedom wasn't outside of you. Freedom, it was inside of you all along. So stop swimming in a circle. Ocean is waiting. Scarcity is not true. It's just a bowl, and the bowl can break. When you decode the matrix, you stop surviving, you start living. And all right, so let's try something super quick together. It's just 30 seconds. If you can, close your eyes if it's okay. And take a deep breath. And I ask yourself this question silently. What is one small action I could take today that would make me feel proud? Share that with me in a comment, please. I would love to see it. You know,
Should we?
yeah, we could do
I
that.
didn't know what. Yeah, should we speak some of them out loud?
Oh yeah, you could do that. That could be fun.
I don't want to interrupt your flow, but Betty, you want to come off mute and just share that quickly? Speak it into existence.
Go to the gym and lift more heavier weights, not be so comfortable at my current weight load because I make funny faces and grunt.
As do we all. Okay, give it up for Betty. I need to join you. And that's inspiring, which is why we say it out loud. Who else? Rebecca, what did you share? You're on mute.
Yeah. Yuka made a point where she said, she always wants to, move forward as fast as she can. And I'm really bad about reaching out to people who are significant in my life because, do I have an hour to stay on the phone with them or 30 minutes, because we're in a, now, just text me, don't call. You know what I'm saying? So I've put people off that I really need to engage with and connect with because I'm like, do I have more than 10 minutes to talk? And so I wish I'd quit doing that and putting them on the back burner.
So good. So good, Rebecca. Helen, do you want to come off mute and share your takeaway?
Sure. Actually, I'm losing my voice because I just came back from LA trip for 5 days. Yuka is my close girlfriend from my school time. So you can tell how long have we know each other. She emailed me last night, like 9 p.m. or something like that. And she asked me if I can join the session. I said, oh, girl, I do not have any scheduled meeting tomorrow morning, so I will be happy to register to join. So anyway, just bear with my voice. So we know each other since a long time ago, right? So I know how calm she is, how great she is. Of course, we have different career paths. I'm a financial advisor, by the way, for 24 years. And then she has been working all those top companies. So anyway, we keep in touch. We still love each other. So today I'm here mainly to support her. And I enjoy your session, girls. You guys did wonderful job. I love it so much. So I'm going to focus more for the next few hours with you all instead of working to prepare for my next appointment at 2 p.m. We'll see. I really enjoy everything you guys share because I'm a very busy person, obviously, but I definitely try to relax my mind as much as possible. So I'm kind of a balanced person in general. I'm not very stressed out, but I do have busy schedule every day. So I have to treat myself sometime. So I'm learning from you all. Thank you. Nice meeting you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And Philip, sounds like you had something to share.
Yeah, I think for me, it's following through with my schedule and it's not being distracted. So sometimes there's a lot of distractions that can happen, but I think just having grace and knowing that, as long as I get the three things that I scheduled in and that's what I need to get done, then I need to get it done. So no excuses.
No, hashtag no excuses. Sorry, go ahead, Yuka.
Christian gave me 2 words for that. Productive procrastination. It's like, oh.
Do you want to explain what it means, or do you want me to?
I was explaining to Christine, like, okay, when I'm about to do the reach out, all of a sudden I need to open up the pineapple because it's gonna go bad. Or I must clean the kitchen right now. Oh, let me take my car to the dealer because it has a air is kind of low, and the, I do everything else but that. And then you told me, yeah, it's called productive procrastination. Everybody does that. I was like,
I love that. And yeah, if you all stick around in a few minutes, I'm gonna hopefully you'll let me share my thought track also on like thinking won't overcome action, like action, but like thinking won't overcome the fear. And fear is a strange word because you didn't say you're fearful about the to-do list, but a lot of us have a to-do list that we keep putting off. So how to step into that. But I don't want to jump ahead. I just that's what's to come. Ties into productive procrastination. Okay, did I miss anybody? Anybody else? Katya, do you want to come off mute and share that last thing with us? I think it's
Sorry, were you speaking to me?
yes. What did you say in the chat? Make a post on social?
Oh yeah, make a post that like never, well, not never. It's been falling off my priority list for days. So what would make me feel super good was if I gave it the priority and allowed it to stay on and just made it. So I think that's what I'm going to do today.
one more push.
Yeah.
You
Thank
got
you for that nudge, Yuka. Thank you for the inspiration and the refocusing.
Okay, back to you.
All right. And I talked to you about the Turning Pro. It's a book from by Stephen Pressfield, and I've only read the Turning Pro portion. I think it's coming from the bigger book, but in there he talks about Turning Pro, and I felt convicted reading that book because I think Rebecca was saying the keyword for me, the imposter syndrome. Whole entire time I was in accounting field, 30 years, I was feeling imposter syndrome because I know that was like my facade of like, okay, I'm a pro, I'm professional, I work for a professional organization, I have a knowledge, I have a technology, I mean technique, and I have a support. Okay. And I'm getting paid. So that must be my pro moment, right? But then he went on describing about how he is an author and he knew that he was an author, but he opted to do everything else, like pick fruits or like drive truck. And he was calling that as an amateur. And that was convicting for me. He said, what else you and I? It's not you are sick or depressed or have chaotic season in life. It's when you play like an amateur. When you're playing like an amateur, you experience resistance, which I did. Like whole entire time I was working for an EY, I did crazy hours. Like I went to work at 7 earlier than clients, and that was torture for my client. I will leave at 11 p.m. and but I was acting my accounting job and knowing there's something more out there. But when you decided to go pro, you give up a version of yourself and take a new identity, one that has survived the greatest cost. It's messy and it's scary. I don't know if you can tell. I am scared right now. I think I told a few people that I'm doing this scared, but I had a lot of grievance in experiencing leaving my accounting career because it looks good on resume. I am very hireable. In my resume say she's gonna get the job done. In my resume, it's gonna say she has good experiences. She's trustworthy. And for me to be shifting my profession to serving people in a level that are completely different from accounting, more deeply inside into people's day-to-day life. I was scared. Like, it's like asking God, why me? Like, why did you make me an accountant? Why did you make me now pulling me out of this newly created comfortable position? Like, I trained myself to be comfortable in it, and then and all of a sudden he's like, "That's not where you belong, Yuka." And then I ran into this book about pro and amateur. Amateurs don't make $1 million. Pro makes $1 million, millions of dollars. Remember driving? When you fast drove, it was like super uncomfortable. You know, like you don't know. Like I used to. I mean, I started out with manual shift, so I was like, okay, am I gonna have a perfect timing on the clutch and accelerator? Or like, am I gonna remember to shift the gear? And but now it's almost automatic, right? Like how many people put the makeup on that in the car, right? Or how many people turn around and yell at your kids in the car? So, but now, how many of you, yeah, like this is how you like you can sorry. It's almost automatic because you learn like repeatedly. This is something Kirsten told me. What's the compounding word that the phrase you like to use? Um, consistency compounds.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what does this mean for those of us here? You're going to get so good at taking action because, oh, so yeah, what was stopping me was taking action. And becoming a pro, you have to take an action. In the beginning it's hard, but it become addicted to celebrating the smallest win. This is something I also learned from Kristen. Celebrate every step of the way. When you make a decision to do, celebrate. When you take an action, celebrate. When you succeed, you celebrate. I forget often, but this is my new millionaire me habit that I'm establishing. But what's celebrated gets repeated. So crashing your goal and going to feel it's crashing your goal and celebrating each time, it's gonna start feel effortless. And I believe that.
So go pro, type pro in the chat. And I'm just going to sneak in real quick because I think this whole idea of thinking won't overcome our to-do list, the fear we have, the subconscious belief we have, or the excuses we have, like the pineapple we need to cut at the last minute because we're putting something else off. So thinking about the thing we need to do isn't going to get the thing done, but taking imperfect action will. And so despite anything else, what Yuka is going to share with us today, I believe that the key to stepping into our new identity that she's presenting to us and living in our imagination is continuing to show up and take massive imperfect action, even when we don't know the outcome. But this is how it becomes automatic. Like she said, now we can get in our car and go drive somewhere to the grocery store. We all drive to the grocery store, wave at me, right? I mean, I don't, I guess because I use Instacart now. But like in theory, we all drive somewhere and it becomes automatic. We like don't even remember how we got there. And so that's what turning pro is. And that's why consistency compounds, like she just said. And we can't think our way out of this. We can't think our way into our next level of ourselves, into our goals, into the habits, into going to the gym, into the next version of you. But 100%, if you can take the smallest, even mediocre steps, I believe and declare for you that this is going to be your best year ever. Tap your chest and say, this is going to be my best year ever. So take a little tiny step toward your to-do list, Philip. Take one step and just simply drive to the gym, Helen, and then get into the gym, and then do the thing, right? Or I forget who shared the gym thing, sorry. Right? But take one step, because the feeling of progress, I'll leave you with this, the feeling of progress, the feeling of momentum. I love that. Remember, tell me in the chat what Yuka's first step of her three-step system is. What was that first step? Tell me in the chat. She's about to decode, decide to decode, decide to decode. Yep. Oh, Helen's like, I need the gym anyway. So when we decide to decode, dopamine gets released, not when we accomplish our goal, but actually when we decide that we're going to change, when we decide we're going to step into the new identity. So that's what I wanted to share, is that take one step and then celebrate, like she said. One step, celebrate. Decide, take a step, lean in, and then celebrate. That's what I have.
So good. That makes sense. I didn't think of dopamine. Yeah. Oh, can I share with you about the time I was having difficulty creating this masterclass? Why is it that even when you know what to do, we don't actually do it? Like we know we have to go to gym, or it's better. We know we feel better if I go to gym. We know if we bring the weight up, it's gonna make your muscle stronger. We know if I reach out to people, I can invite into sharing what I know. It possibly impact somebody's life to be better. Yet we don't do it. Like, we know how to save money. We know how to eat better. We know how to use our time wisely, but our action just don't match. Why is that? So once my mentor looked at me straight in the eye and tapped her shoulder and say, this here, I mean, to tap my head, like, like this here is a karst headgear. I didn't get it first. But over time, I realized my thought and emotions weren't really mine. Like, it is, but they were full of garbages I picked up from the society, from the family, from the past experiences. They don't mean bad again. And even though my soul wanted more, my body kept dragging me back into the same old normal. Here's the thing about you. You've been told to just think positive, right? I think Rebecca was talking about it, and I think she left. But the truth is, your conscious mind, the part you are using right now, is only a tip of iceberg. Underneath, your subconscious, it's like a supercomputer that has recording everything you've seen, you've heard, and you've experienced. Every sound, every word, every memory is stored here. And then isn't that craziest part? Is the subconscious don't argue back with you. It doesn't judge, and it simply answers the question your conscious mind asks instantaneously. Think of this way. If I said, imagine a pink elephant wearing the polka dot hearts, your subconscious immediately served you an image, right? Pink elephant wearing a polka dot hat, okay? What kind of hat was that? And what color are your dots? And see how fast that was? You didn't even try. And I know your version of polka dot is different from my polka dots. Mine was gray. And that's how powerful it is. It runs your heartbeat, make you breathe, and control your habits and your emotions, most of your actions without even noticing. And yet, society teaches you to do the opposite. It tells you think harder, hustle more, push through with willpower. No wonder why so many people stay stuck in the scarcity and repeating the same money habits and same life patterns and year over year. They're fighting the wrong battle because your subconscious doesn't care for if you're happy. It only cares for if you're safe. That's why it resists the change. And that's why normal feels so hard to break. So if you truly want to rewire your money story and your life, here's the shortcut. Stop wrestling with your conscious mind and start reprogramming your subconscious. Because once the subconscious shifts, your habit shifts, your action shifts, and your life can't help but follow. That's a real game changer. Your subconscious runs about 95% of your life. Imagine what happens when you train it to run for the dream instead of from your fears. That's it for my section.
I know that was so good. I think I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to pause and take a couple takeaways. I saw in the chat, Helen, do you want to come off mute and share what you shared about procrastination? She had said procrastination is the killer to our plans. So who else has a takeaway that you want to share in terms of about turning pro, stepping into your new identity, productive procrastination and how to avoid it? Anything that Yuka has taught in the last like 20 minutes? Anybody want to share a takeaway? Rena, what about you, my friend? Can't tell if she's frozen, maybe though. She might be. Betty, did you want to share anything? No. Okay. All right. So one thing that I love to talk about is this whole concept of just simply being one chapter ahead. And like Yuka always tells me, you don't have to go straight to the top of the top, but you want to learn from people who are a little ahead of you. For example, a first grader learns better from a second grader than from their teachers because perhaps this is more relatable of an experience. And has anybody seen that movie, Catch Me If You Can? It had Leonardo DiCaprio in it. It was a true story. If you haven't, there's some more homework for you this weekend. It's such a great movie. And so it's a true story. Leonardo DiCaprio plays this guy. I think his name was Frank Abagnale Jr. And basically, Frank ran away from home before the age of 18, yet was being tracked by the FBI because he became like a massive con artist. He was staging himself as an airline pilot, like legit, like sitting in the cockpit, nobody the wiser. He was writing tons and tons of fraudulent checks, traveling all over the world. And when the FBI finally caught him, he was teaching a college class at BYU. So Brigham Young University in Utah. And they were like, Frank, how'd you do it? And he said, oh, it was easy. I simply stayed one chapter ahead. And so this is the concept, right? I made with the setting sun. Oops. That's okay. I'll mute her. Simply be one chapter ahead. We don't need to be 25 chapters ahead, but to teach that college course, he read the chapter the night before. And so what is it in our life, or how can we find a mentor like Yuka to help us if she's one chapter ahead, let alone 10 chapters ahead, but is she one chapter ahead of how to help us rewire our subconscious and our beliefs? Melinda, over to you.
No, I just wanted to say that it took me a minute to process what Yuka said because I think, for at least for myself, I could talk for myself, but I feel like a lot of people who, especially my clients, they're like, I have to do all of this at once. And I just love your system because it's so simple. It just like no matter what experience or what situation that I might be going through, I can see how it applies. Like just visualizing, okay, so can it work at this? Oh, it does. Or it's easy to remember, it's easy to apply. Um, and I feel like that's one of the things that I struggle with is like, how do I apply a very simple process so that I don't feel overwhelmed with trying something new, and then getting stuck in the process. And I just love that your system is so simple that it's more focused on just like, you know, realigning our subconscious to be more free, to be more godly than to be stuck in just like the mediocre of the world. And so it just speaks a lot to me, especially as a Christian, as a believer who's just like, I want to be more like God. How do I do that? And when he calls for bigger things for my life, I'm like, that I can't do that.
Yes, you can.
You know, and he's like, well, I wouldn't have given it to you if you couldn't, you know. Um, and so like I think I think that at the end of the day, if we simplify some of our activities instead of trying to do everything and we just focus on what we actually want and like just connecting what we we're talking about earlier is connecting our subconscious to our conscious and just really being in truth of who we are and just leveling up, there's the breakthrough. And so I appreciate what you're sharing with us today.
Thank you so much. You know, like one thing I learned is we spend so much time and thoughts avoiding the feeling. And every time we avoid the feeling or avoid your true self, you waste so much time and energy. But once you commit to just feel it out, we free up so much time. Yeah, I don't know if that helps.
No, it does. It helps 100%. You know, yesterday was my birthday. Last year, thank you. Last year for my birthday, I feel like God gave me wisdom. Like I visualize that he gave me this like big blue wheelbarrow of golden letters that all spelled out vision. It was like overflowing. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, Lord. So I'm like working and earning and growing in vision all year. And this year, my husband said, well, what do you feel like you got this year? And before I could like even think about it, it just came out and it was like sight. Like I got the gift of sight. And when I woke up yesterday, everything was just like I was grateful for just the small things. I'm like, oh, I woke up. Yay, you know, like, oh, I like got out of bed by myself. Yay, you know, and just like throughout the whole day. And I'm like, this is so amazing and just so simple.
Mhm.
Like, you know, it's like, wow, why did I make it so complicated? But and also, oh, I see why you can like, yeah, like I see why, you know, well, God says to me, Holy Spirit says, keep going. Like go, like run your race well. Don't like running and requires us to not delay. Like if you ever think about it, it's like when we're running, we're not thinking about what we're going to step on. We're focused on the destination, the end result. So he's like, just keep going. Like, don't worry about all of these things or temporary situations. Just focus on the goal, the end in mind. And it's just like you're calling it to you, but really we're just like running towards it. And so, yeah.
Taking actions.
So amazing. Thank you and happy birthday. We are all saying to you in the chat, happy birthday, but that is really insightful. Isn't it? I just want to say, like, this is why we're asking you to speak up because you don't like that wasn't scripted. This isn't planned. It's really like we're connecting with Melinda's stories, which helps us understand more about where we are, right? That's really what this is all about. So I want to honor Melinda for taking time to share with us. Thank you. And all of you, of course. Thank you. Okay. What else do you have, Yuka?
I was I was resonating with your one chapter ahead story because I know some of you here do this. I used to have to know the end. I have to know the whole thing before I can take a step. And that's the perfectionism stopping us. But that becomes such a familiar things to me as an auditor. We used to have a phrase we live by. It's that from start to end. And like end in mind, you need to have end in mind, which is great, but I used to be over prepared and couldn't that over preparedness stopped me from taking action. Now I know doing it scared, knowing a little bit and doing it, like do a little bit, learn a little bit and do a little bit, it becomes so much more um, progress that I can make instead of living in my head, worrying about it. So that was a great lesson for me. Well, I am going to segment into why the right coach changes everything. You know, what's the wrong coach feels like buying a treadmill and then hanging laundry on it. Have you done that? I've done that. Yeah, I have it. You're not going anywhere. And I've had many coaches, and some of my coaches are so super nice. They were super polite, and I'm telling myself like I'm learning to be as nice as her. They nod a lot and basically become my therapist. But I wasn't looking for therapist. I was hungry for transformation. And I have other coaches that gave me a tool, but disappeared in between the sessions. It was like IKEA furniture with no instructions. Like, here you are, build it. Like, and I'm like standing there with a pile of parts and thinking, well, oh, okay, you know what? Let me Google it. And then I found my great coach. And here's the difference. When I come with an excuse, or ask her to, like, I actually asked my coach to read everything I wrote. And she looked at me and said, no, I expect you to be up here, this level. Use your imagination. And guess what? That's when I actually leveled up. So a coach is like a mirror, except a mirror shows you who you could be, not just who you are right now. That's what the real coach does. The great coach won't just clap with the crowd and say, good job, have a seat. Because if somebody said to me, like a lot of my mentors did, you're doing great, sit down, I won't move forward. But the great coach said, well, okay, that's not good enough yet. You have a better potential. I know, I believe in you. And then, yes, it's uncomfortable. Growth always is uncomfortable. But if you and only ever hear what you want to hear, you will never become who you meant to be. So think about it. The society teaches us work harder, try longer, figure it out all on. And but alone takes forever. With the right coach, you borrow their belief in you until you believe in yourself catches up with you. So here's the truth. The wrong coach wastes your time. And time is a higher value than money, by the way. And a therapist to help you heal the past. Well, actually, one thing to point out is that, you can heal while you're improving. But the right coach pull your future forward fast. And having the right coach taught me how to value my time, value my money, and most importantly, value myself. And that's what I want to offer you too, because end of the day, my ultimate goal is very simple. I want the human, as many human as possible to say, I love my life.
We should all say that out loud. I love my life. What you're teaching us right now, this is gold. Somebody drop your favorite emoji in the chat for Yuka. Do you see what she's doing? Is she came prepared to this masterclass to teach her three-step system, and yet through it all, she's sharing her vulnerabilities with us by telling us stories, right? And like, but she's actually being relatable and human because she's not just running through a script. She's like, oh, this is how it feels, or this is what I'm going through to show up and make this masterclass happen after a year of wanting to hold it. So I love my life. I love my life. We are overcoming the idea that our subconscious is wired, and I know you're going to teach the rewire step here in just a little bit. I can't wait for that. But in the meantime, we've agreed to live in our imagination, and I want to test this. Are you guys ready? It's like a little bit of a test because there's a whole concept called of needs versus wants. I picked this up from a book also by Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. That book is called 10x is easier than 2x. And the idea is that we are taught by society, look at all these things we're taught by society. Don't live in your imagination and money is bad. We need to rewire ourselves, right? We're also taught not to want. And wanting is how we get ahead. So I'm going to ask you all to think about what it is you really, really want. And I'm going to say this is a no judgment zone. I will go first to make sure you're giving yourself permission. Tap your chest for me and say, I give myself permission to want. I want, you guys ready? A $3.5 million house across the street. Melinda has probably heard me say that 25 times in the last year. I want that, and I am done making excuses or making myself feel smaller because that feels uncomfortable for other people to hear. Along with my wants, I want to impact millions of people with Say Yes and Figure It Out and my life's mission. So this isn't to say that we're in it for money, we're in it for things, or materialistic. But if we're going to step into this identity that Yuka is teaching us about, we need to take off the shields, take off the guards, and give ourselves permission to want. Philip says, I give myself permission to want. Thank you, Philip. So tell me in the chat what you want. I'll share another one. The $3.5 million house for me, it feels so tangible that's why I hide. I used to hide behind that, but I also want and expect to be vacationing on yachts. You can see I just had a vacation on a yacht in June. I used to be married to a yacht captain. My best friend is a yacht charter broker. So like I'm in the right world, right? It's just like a matter of time till I have enough money to bring my friends and my family on these beautiful yachts across the world. These are my wants. They don't need to be yours. They're big on purpose because my life's mission is big on purpose. Your want can be, you tell us in the chat, but like, right? So we can come off mute and share, we can say in the chat, but like this is a very sacred space. And I would doubt that none of us know more than two people in the room. And the two people or one person or zero people that you might know, nobody's going to judge you. Yuka, what do you want? Let's set them free.
I want a $2 million catamaran to travel around the world. That's what I'm working hard for.
I love that goal of yours. I like literally love that goal for yours. Look at how her face beam. I mean, you have such a happy disposition anyway, but like when you give yourself permission to want, does anybody else want to? Melinda, what do you want? I know Melinda, so I can pick on her, but I really challenge you to not, you're already in the room right now. Sorry, but before you go, Melinda, I challenge everybody. Did you at least write it down? Did you write it down? What do you want? Write it on your notebook. Even better, put it on chat, or even better, speak it out loud like I have, Yuka has, and Melinda is about to. Okay.
I want to grow my family, and I want to buy a house on a 2-acre lot where I can have chickens, a vegetables and fruit garden with just the entire house, practically just all windows, letting the light come in and warm our home.
Did anybody else get the chills for her, or just me? We're vibrating in order to change our subconscious. This is not my masterclass, it's Yuka's, but like we need to vibrate at a higher level in order to receive, which is why for somebody else's wants, like I can feel that for her, which means it is true. It will happen. Anybody else? Helen, you're off mute. Are you willing to share?
Yeah, I'd love to share because my expectation and want is when I retire, I can have a 1 million passive income every year so that I can do more donations to wherever I want to, right? And then also at the same time, I would hope I can leave at least 10 partners can earn 1 million a year. So that's my wish by the time I retire. So I'm working hard for that.
It's gonna happen. I know her.
So good. Philip, do you want to speak these words out loud? Thank you for putting them in the chat.
Sure. Yeah, I think my big vision is to really build up kingdom leaders, meaning that, they steward their wealth well, so that way they could make a bigger impact, not just for themselves, but for their families in in their generations, right? So we're talking about generational wealth to, help people's families, people's communities, and just be a bigger impact. And also for my wife, I know she always dreams of, a really nice home. Not me so much, I don't really care about a big home, but I want to make her dreams come true. So get her the home of her dreams, and then big enough so I could put a golf simulator in there for myself.
The detail in which that golf simulator made it into the chat, I was like, I'm so grateful that you were willing to speak those words out loud, because that's what they say is like, it's not just rewiring our subconscious, but it's reprogramming it to like see the detail. Betty, are you open or willing? And if not, it's okay. So just nod at me to come off mute and share yours.
Yeah, I put it here in the chat, but I want to be able to support my parents, myself, and my son financially. I'd love to retire early and have time to travel the world while I'm still young and able to walk many steps and miles. Um, and I've always had a passion for bees. I'd love to raise bees. I can get all of the free honey I want and help everybody, my whole community, with awesome honey and royal jelly and bee pollen and all of the things, and just support the bees. And I would love to be able to own my own home at some point. But right now, yeah, just focusing on finding new and finding employment, or just a source of income. So
give it up for Betty for sharing her vulnerability. And we all need your address when you get this home and become a beekeeper, because we are all smiling with the taste of homemade honey and the win-win-win that creates. So thank you for sharing. And is it Haru? Did I pronounce your name right? Would you like to come off mute and share?
Yes. Hi, my name is Harue, and I've listened to this session. It was so much to learn. And then actually, I've known Yuka since like almost 15 years. And then actually, she is the interviewer of my first job I ever got. But what I want in my life is like I want to have my own house and then with a cat and dog and build my own family. Actually, I've cat sitting Yuka's cat for the first time, and I never had pet before. And then I didn't even know that having a pet in the house makes my life much better. So I felt like, someday I want to have my own cat or dog, and then with my own house that I feel very comfortable and safe. That's what I wanted to have in the future. And then I also want to have a work that, since I'm away from my family living here in the US, so I want to have a work that I can go back and forth between Japan and the US. That's like what I want to do in the future.
It's gonna happen.
Yes.
I love all of this. Thank you all so much for sharing. You've brought so much joy to my life by speaking these words out loud and feeling safe enough to be vulnerable with everyone. And for those of you who didn't share, it's okay also. Make sure you wrote down your goal or your dream or your wants. And that is the first step to making it come true. So Yuka is going to share the last step with us here in just a few minutes. But there's this concept of like, what are the two biggest expenses in life? Do you guys know? Tell me in the chat. Like, what's the biggest expense in life? A lot of times we see things like cars or kids. What do you think is the biggest expense in life? Helen gets it right. That's the second biggest expense, though. Isn't that wild? So taxes are the second biggest expense. And the reason is because we're paying tax like all types of ways for all of the things. And how ironic that many of you, or some of you at least, are from the accounting world, broadly speaking. But yes, we pay tax upon tax upon tax. But the craziest thing, and I learned this recently and I can't unlearn it now, is the biggest expense is not knowing how to get the $3.5 million house, to get the bee farm, to get the house with the cat and the dog, to get the dream home for the wife. The biggest expense is what we're paying every single year to not have what it is that we desire. So to not find a mentor, to not find a coach. It's wild because we're paying life $1 million a year, basically, by not having the skill set to create $1 million of wealth, millions of dollars. What it's was it Helen or somebody said like $1 million a month, right? $1 million. I'm declaring that for you. I think you said a year, but like let's go a month, okay? Like whatever that is for you, really, is where that's what we're paying life. That is the biggest expense. I want you to think about that because this kind of breaks the mold. This is why the rewire step that Yuka is going to teach us in a few minutes is the most important step. And she saved it for the end in order to teach us the decide to decode step, the identify step, and then we told a bunch of stories, right? So that is the biggest. Second biggest expense is taxes, and the first biggest expense is what we're paying life on accident, subconsciously, by not having the things that we already want. Okay, back to you.
Rewiring part. I'm not gonna have enough time to teach how to rewire everything, but I can bring you this story. I've had this talk on some of the meetings that we shared before previously, but the money is your friend. A lot of us think this is not our friend. They tend to be our enemy. But if you like them, if you want to be friend with money, you declare to it, I love you. I want you all the way around us. So some people think I'm crazy, but I have a lot of cash in my wallet all the time because I needed to brainwash myself that I am secure. I'm surrounded and protected by this cash that people trust. Money is spiritual. In here it said, in God we trust. And it show up in the digital format, it show up in the paper format, it show up as a payment, it shows up as torture sometimes. But this is not $100. This is more than $100. And I'm going to show you what it means. So I pay $100 for oil change. I know there are places that they do the oil change a lot cheaper, but I spend $100 at the dealership because I used to do the oil change myself. I would wear oil. It means you have to go to store and get the stuff, and I have to borrow a tool from my friends. And once I get it done, I have to worry about where can I discard this oil and the filters. And usually I wear it in my clothes, so the clothes you can't really wash to clean it out, so you have to throw them out. So it ends up usually being more than $100. Now I pay and sit on the lobby. They have really nice lobby at the Mazda. They provide us coffee. I work. Yeah, I did. I work on my other things on the computer while I wait. And I love the guy that my service manager at the office. He's learning Japanese, and it's so cute to see him like trying his language skill. But anyhow, so I pay them $100, and the store would take this $100 and pay its employee. So that's two transactions. So that's two people made happy already with the same $100. Now the store person would take it to the grocery store and spend $100, and he would get the meat, the birthday cake, vegetables, and imagine how much it would cost you to have that piece of meat if you have to raise it and butcher it and package it. $100 is not going to be enough, but you get it at a fraction of cost. You get birthday cake. Imagine creating your own birthday cake. How much time you have to spend, what are the ingredients, and it's not even guaranteed that you're going to do a good job. So he's willing to pay this $100 to receive more money, right? So then the grocer would take it to, grocery store pay its manager $100. And $100 is nothing for this store because this manager takes care of like 10 teenagers in her job. They don't listen. It's stressful. But she does a great job. So the grocery store is willing to pay her $100, and they're probably receiving more than $100 worth from her. And then she will take it to the gym because she needs a space to decompress after the teenager at work and the teenager at home. She needs alone time, and working out $100 is not going to rent her a room. So that's so meaningful for her. So she's willing to pay this $100, and she's receiving more value. So the same $100 traveled to the multiple places. Every time this money traveled, it created the value. Money didn't leave you. So what that means is, how many times did this $100 travel? At least 7. So this now turned into $700, right? So every time you spend the money, focus on what you received. Because when you are focused on what you spent, your focus is spent. And your impression you created is money is gone. Whereas you received something from that transaction, each time you spend it in a transaction, you obtain the value. It's probably higher than $100 because you would not be paying $100 for something that's worth $30. You would be paying $100 because you feel like that's valued a little bit more than $100. I'm willing to pay. So that's one thing I really would like you to start practicing every time you spend the money, even the credit card. What value am I receiving by paying this? And enjoy that because that shift a lot of what you have already in your life. And you're filling up your life with things you love, and you're one step closer to, I love my life. So, can I share with you how I help people? Tell me yes if that's okay. Oh, yay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, a lot of you guys are asking a question. So, then what's next? Is it okay with you if I take a minute to tell a little bit about how I help people? So, my system is called Rewiring Your Money and Time Freedom. It's where I walk with you, hands in hands, to get freedom from lack of money and time, to really enjoying this life you have to maximum potential. Just imagine, you're no longer stressed and angry. I used to be angry all the time, but you will be exuding happiness everywhere you go. So when you're happy everywhere, you attract money. Your heart has room to think about attracting money because you're not consumed in worry, or you're not consumed in I'm tired, I'm busy, I don't have time, I don't have money. So when you stop doing those, money show up as how much you appreciate yourself and how much people appreciate you. And if this is not clear to you in this masterclass, you need to book a call with me to clarify. So you will be able to enjoy what you used to be stressful. Like I used to be so stressed about work during the quarter end, to close the book, to report, and all that. But once I shifted my identity and my mind, those things are now fun because I'm helping other people out and I'm resourceful. So without worrying about lack of money or time, it changes you. Of course, you'll be able to enjoy what you dreamed of doing. Life is like an RPG, the role-playing game. You choose to play that game or life instead of game or the life is always happening to you. So if you know that this is for you, I want you to right now to do the right thing and open up other tab, and I'm going to send you a calendar link if I can find it. Book a call with me. And yeah, so I have an offer that I'm actually going to do a super crazy deal just for you guys because this is my first ever masterclass, and I want to I want to admit the appreciation I have for all of you, my friends. Yeah, and then this is only really going to be for the people who booked a call right now. So if you could book a call, I mean, I can take a time while you do that. I'd appreciate your, what is it, willingness to work with me. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I would like to work with. This is for the people who's feeling a limit in breaking through by yourself and would like a support, or people who believe that your life has more to offer, or somebody who wants to take a shortcut in transformation instead of taking long time like I did. I took 10 years. And somebody who believes that you can work with subconscious. Some people don't believe in subconscious. They're stubborn, and those are the people I don't think I can help. And people who wants to stop self-sabotaging. I was a special. I was a pro at that. But we need to stop that to move forward. And somebody who wants to live the life you design. Food, this is not for. It's people who like working hard for transformation. Believe me, there are people who's like that. I used to be one of it. And people who don't want to change. Secretly, there are people who said, I want to change, but in the heart, they don't really want. And those are going to be a hard people to work with. So I don't want to work with those people. And people who wants to stay stuck in the struggle bus for a little bit longer. If struggling is giving you a little bit of satisfaction, now is not the time for you. And the people who are secretly satisfied with where they are right now, don't want to be aware of opportunities. There are people out there like that. And the people who already give up on their life. Well, I don't believe in I'm too old, even if it is for my mom. My mom have been telling me I'm too old. I wish I knew that ever since what she was 35. And that is not true. But in my coaching session, like I explained to you, I have 3 steps. First is decide to decode the matrix. Here's what we see what the normal you have that you where you're stuck with from the bird eye view, so you can decipher where you're stuck. And step 2 is identify where you are, what step to take, and where you are, how to dream big. And step 3 is rewire money and time freedom. So this is actually more of action taking steps because subconscious emotions are in the body. We need to change an action. We need to take an action. We're going to take a lot of imperfect actions until we get used to it. And then we can do the rinse and repeat once you master the steps. Does that sound like would be helpful?
Yes.
Yeah. Does that sound like something you're looking for? Well, if you're interested, we have a few spots available. So we are going to have a call to see if the system is right for you. And I'm actually going to drop a link one more time so I can chat with you later, one-to-one.
Give it up for everyone booking calls. I know Philip said he did.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you have, let us know. But also, let's give Yuka a break for a second. This is just super incredible. And I know we are at the tail end, just so you know, in terms of timing. It reminds me of as you're telling us about money and like who this is for and who this is not for. Let's consider that who it's for are giraffes and who it's not for are turtles. And this is just kind of puts this into perspective as you're filling out the application or finding a time that works for you. But turtles, this is not for turtles. Turtles live among the grass and they occupy the same space as a giraffe. They could both be in the wild, in the same forest, or in the same zoo. But at the end of the day, a giraffe eats from the top of the trees and a turtle eats from the grass. And a turtle can't see what a giraffe can see. A giraffe has a 9-foot neck and a 25-pound heart to pump its blood all the way up its neck. And the craziest thing is a giraffe, like, put your shoulders back, like she keeps telling us, and right, adjust our stance, tap your chest and say, I am a giraffe because I've given myself permission through this masterclass to step into a new identity. And here's the coolest thing about giraffes. A turtle only sees what a turtle sees at their level, but a giraffe can see the 30,000-foot view. And in our life, we have turtles and they might mean well. Maybe it's our spouse or our partner or our friends or people who aren't in this master class. Maybe it's society, right? But we want to be surrounded by giraffes because here's the craziest thing about the giraffe's 9-foot neck and 25-pound heart. If a giraffe lowers his neck to eat at the level of a turtle, he will in fact pass out. Isn't that wild? And so a giraffe has to keep his shoulders back, has to stand tall, has to believe that in order to rewire our beliefs and step into our new identity, that we need to book a call with Yuka and learn everything that she learns, or at least like have a connected connection with her, right? Following this masterclass. But I wanted to share giraffes and turtles because we are now giraffes. And that requires us to keep stepping into that identity, to keep taking little tiny steps toward these goals and these wants that we've all declared. So thank you for letting me share that.
I do have a full disclosure, actually. I will not take everybody as a client because like I needed to, I'm sorry. I have a yeah. I needed to interview my coaches before I commit to it. Like some people, like I made that mistake of just signing up from the masterclass and it sounded good. But I needed to be able to communicate one-to-one and I need to make sure we are a good match. So this call is just to kind of more figure out from your end and from my end, and we both agree if this is right, then we'll move forward. Yeah. Oh yeah. God's attribute. So God created us in the image of him in one way or the other, right? So I'm teaching kids a Bible study class, and one of the attributes is actually not listed in the book is he cannot lie. And I can't lie. When I try to lie, people who knows me, you can tell in my face that yes, she's thinking about something else. So if you want to learn from somebody who won't lie, I will tell occasionally the blunt things because I can't lie. I try not to say certain things, but I will tell you the truth. And my promise is that I will be available and show up and serve at the highest possible level by keeping my mind centered and focused on your goal. I have a certification from many organizations and I belong to many mastermind groups. So if I personally can't come up with questions or solutions for you, which I don't believe because I most of the time answers are within you. All I have to do is click it out and show it to you, present it to you. But so there will always be an answer for you. And that's my promise. Teach money. Let me segment into a teaching money part because this is one of my favorite part. So who here would love to live the life where making money feels easy? I learned last week that if it feels hard, then you may not be doing it right. For a long time, I didn't believe that was possible. I thought I had to work super hard in order for me to achieve the high paying status. And I did so. Yeah, I grew up believing that the money has to be hard. Why? Because that's what I saw. My dad, well, I grew up in Japan, so he would take a 6 o'clock train to go to work, and he would come home at 11 p.m. in his pressed suits, exhausted, hair combed, like really put together, but like going to the train and being crashed. Sometimes he's gone for like 3 months in US for project. I don't see him all this time. And what did my neighbor say to me? Like, your dad is so hardworking. What a solid man. You are from really good family. So what did I learn? Struggle equals success. So fast forward, I repeated that cycle. I worked 7 to sometimes 1 a.m. at Ernst& Young, and people praised me too because you're working the hardest in this firm. Like, yeah, because I'm not effective, efficient. But inside, I was thriving. I was trapped. Isn't that funny? Kids don't listen to what the parents said. They watch what you do. And we've all been trained to wear struggle as a badge of honor. Look at her, she's working hard. But let me tell you, working hard does not mean working smart. And it definitely does not make you happy. Then something shifted. When I joined the mastermind with over 200 entrepreneurs making millions, I learned something radical. When you are in the sweet spot, making money feels easy. But how do you know the sweet spot if you don't know who you are or what makes you happy? And I started to listening not to society and not to my parents' old programming, but to my soul. What do I really want? What makes my body feel alive? The moment I choose happiness as my guide, my imagination expanded. My certainty grew. And here I am hosting masterclass, standing here with you. Something that used to terrify me, now it fuels me. I actually had exhilarating experiences last week trying to invite you all. That was weird because I was for sure thinking I'm gonna repeat of like, oh, I don't want to send this person this message. Oh, I need to choose. I don't think this is a good idea. Yeah, choose happiness. Yeah, so here that's what I discovered money is spiritual. It needs to be aligned with who you are. It's not just a paper, it's an energy. It reflects your identity. That's why I like using money as a medium to get into people's mind because we have a lot of belief associated to it, and belief controls our subconscious, and I could now see it. So if you act like you're broke, money runs from you, or your subconscious would be pushing away the money that you really actually have. You get the money and you feel guilty, so you spent it all. If you act like your abundance is already yours, money lines up with you, your belief. Because your subconscious is programmed to deliver what you focus on. I don't know if this helps or distracts you, but let me share something real cute. My son Kai, so he's downstairs, supposedly studying. I don't know what he's actually doing. Daily ask me, why is my cat so cute? And I tell him every day because you tell her that every day. You tell her how cute she is every day. Do you see it? You are seeing that lens of cuteness overload, and it manifests into him. And it not just him. It make me believe she's cute. I mean, she's cute, but regardless, she's hungry all the time. She's sort of chunky, but regardless, she's very cute because he tells to her and tell to this world he's so cute. So our subconscious mind can't tell that it is for you or for me. So by him telling how cute the cat is, he's actually telling him how cute he is too, and how cute I am. It ripples effects. It's beautiful. So I did a $100 bill story a little bit, right? And knowing that your money, your $100 bill feels like it's disappeared from your hand, but you exchange and receive your good that you appreciate more than $100 worth. You see how the money didn't vanish? It multiplied, and it multiplied with joy if you put the joy into it. And each hand it touched, it created value. So let me ask you, if money reflects your happiness, what are you teaching it to the mirror back to you? Because when you choose happiness, not only do you transform your own life, but it ripple effect is like a crazy pants, big and awesome. That's why I do what I do. Because once you unlock the shift, making money become easy. Who's ready to explore what this could look like for your life? And let me know. Ooh, thank you. Thank you for receiving it.
Yes, absolutely. All day long, I receive that. You guys made it. Are there any takeaways that you want to share? Yuka is going to wrap up right after this, and I know your time is very valuable, and so we appreciate you sticking with us. But who wants to speak out loud one last word of what you received or what you learned, or even like, don't leave until Yuka's done, but nonetheless, we'll start doing takeaways and then she's going to wrap this up. But it's great for her to hear it. Okay, this is for you and also for our delightful host. Okay, Katya, what is your takeaway?
So appreciate you, Yuka. You are so amazing. I can really, I know we were on some calls together, and I really can see why people would say, Yuka, you're doing great, even though you may have felt like you were struggling at times. I so see that, because even if you are or ever were, you're just so inspiring. I really, really appreciate you and the authenticity that you bring, and just you always feel like you're just genuinely being you. And that's something I so appreciate, and I so resonate with that. And I've just loved this presentation. So thank you for stepping out of your comfort zone. Thank you for being so honest and for sharing, like, I'm uncomfortable. I'm not sure I'm going to do this again. I can so feel that. And like in myself, meaning like I can relate to that. And it's so inspiring for you. I don't know if you realize it, but when you've just this whole journey of this masterclass and you saying you're going to do it. I remember when you said you were going to, set a date ages ago, and we've all been there in one way or another where we were like, okay, I'm going to do it, and then we don't. But now you did. Like, that time just eventually came, and I've been so inspired to watch you on that journey. And I really, really have loved so many parts of today. And when oh my goodness, Kristen said, okay, what's another takeaway? I really liked your spin on focus on the value you're getting from it. Like, it sounds so simple, and it sounds like, well, of course, but no, not of course.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily a given that we're gonna really think about that and put our focus there. But I really love that. And as I was imagining and doing it while you were speaking, already right away, like, I just felt the multiplication of that, of how, yeah, like I've thought as far as maybe one or two steps down, but I loved how you brought it even further. Like, and then it's this person that gets it, and then this person that gets it. It was just a perfect reminder, and really just helped expand, because that's something that I'm really putting focus on myself, is like, okay, let's bring in as much as possible how my receiving is also a gift for others in service,
Mhm.
etc. And that was such a great example and story of that for me. I just love it. So thank you. That's another one of my favorites. But as we come to the close, I'll say that one is my favorite closing one. So thank you, Yuka. That was
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah,
Go ahead.
my teacher about the money taught me about money is a best friend and it's independent of you. Once you let go of the money, you thank you for going there on behalf of me. And it is up to this money to do the next job, and you don't have to be responsible for it because somebody was saying, I used to donate this charity, but I noticed that charity is not doing a good job using the money. And so her thing is it's not up to you to worry about how they spend the money, but you already received the goods you received by donating the feeling that you wanted to get by donating $100 and believing that it's going to create more ripple effect. Then it is up to the money to do its work. So you need to trust in it, because if you don't trust your friend won't give you advice, right? If you don't trust your friend and have their life the way they run, then they don't trust you back. And it's like, oh, yeah, we have to let go, but we have to appreciate it. We have to appreciate your self-value. We have to appreciate the trust that somebody put on you to pay that $100 to you. Yeah, yeah. Um, where was
Is
I?
that okay for me to comment a couple or react a little bit?
Please.
Yuka, you are amazing, dear. I do know you have a lot of concept of money and you have gone through a lot through your work, your career path. Even everybody love you, think you're a high achiever, but sometimes you are not satisfied. I can see you can do so much better through this life coaching program or whatever you are doing now. You are having a mastermind already. So I do think whatever you are utilizing really make my eyes opened, make my heart hear more about it in different angle or different thought.
I
So
love that.
I really learned a lot. I really appreciate you to invite me at the last minute, really last minute.
Sorry.
Everything happened for a reason, right? Just because I came back, I'm very, very tired. So I said, you know what? This morning I'm going to all giving my time to you. But turns out I'm a beneficiary of attending this, awesome session. I really learned a lot. Thank you, girls. You guys are really, really making my day more meaningful, more useful for the long future as well. So I love that coaching session. Yeah, very, very much rewarding. I think the money concept, and also how you see the value can bring up to many people in the chain. That's really, really, really good. I love that part. Of course, you said, we got to attract the money in a right way, and we utilize it in a right way as well. So I do think you made a good cycle money usage wise, right? So love it. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank
so beautiful. Yeah.
from my heart.
Thank you, Helen. Any other takeaways? And then Yuka's going to bring us home, wrap us up, set us free, book your calls. Okay, Yuka.
Okay, I'm diving back in. So just quick reminder, I only put out a little bit of time, but you guys are all my friend. So if you didn't find the time that fits your schedule, reach out to me, please, and I will make a magic happen. Because I love you so much. And yeah, I can promise that it's gonna be fun. I can promise it's gonna be uplifting and it's gonna be worthwhile for you. That's my commitment. Can I tell you a story from a book that my favorite book? And I don't understand why it's missing right now because it's here all the time. I may need to ask my son. It's really skinny book, and it's called U Square by Price Pritchard. And it's only like a 34 pages or so. Short book, but it's valuable. Each page has so much value to it. It took me a while to read it because every page I hit on the chest and I have to like sunk in like, what did I just read? But there's one story that's kind of cute story about the fly. So there's a fly desperately buzzing, burning up all the energy, trying to get through the window pane. So you can almost hear the wings, right? Zzz, zzz, dun, zzz, dun. And then the whole strategy is try harder, flap faster, push more. But the truth is, the fly is doomed. And then no matter how hard it flies, it would never go through the window. And here's the crazy part. Literally 10 step away, door is wide open. Just in a few seconds. With way less effort, the fly could be free, but stuck in the mindset of this is the way. That tells us sometimes we think success is about grinding harder, putting more hours, and doing same thing but faster. And yet, trying harder isn't always the answer. Sometimes it's a trap. The real breakthrough, it comes when trying smarter, not harder. When you dare to stop and shift and choose a different approach. That's why coaching is so powerful because sometimes you need someone's point of view to open the door and say, hey, it's right over there. And that's exactly what I do as a coach. And I help stop wasting energy buzzing at the window and instead show you the doorway that's already open all along. The path feels lighter and faster and actually gets where you want to go. Trying harder is exhausting, and trying smarter is freedom. So the window is a struggle, and the doorway is a strategy. Which one would you be choosing? That's my question. Yeah, I think that's my end of my segment. If you can, if you haven't already, please do book a call with me. And if you have any questions about this or any question that you had previously to me, let me know. I think I have time.
Yeah, let's open it up. Any takeaways, any questions? I want to say from the bottom of my heart, Yuka, thank you so much for letting me come in to co-host with you. But more importantly, thank you for doing this for us, right? Like somebody said it in the chat earlier. I think it was Melinda, and just how energy is like a currency, how just you serving us is in and of itself currency or the exchange of knowledge, right? We're trading time right now to learn from you. And this was very impactful at many levels for me. And I know for everybody else because they're still here and because I've been reading their comments in the chat. So, really, truly, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, I am so ever thankful that you guys sticked around. And I believe I picked the fun and light topics, but I have a lot more. So ask any questions. Oops. Oh, wait. No, I'm stuck on my chat. There you go.
We can see you. All right. Any other takeaways? Otherwise, any other questions? This is always what happens is everyone's like, but we don't want to leave. Hooray. Did you want to say anything else before we leave and say goodbye?
I just want to say thank you, Yuka, for inviting me this masterclass. Actually, I personally took her coaching class, and then it changed the way I think about my work and my life, and then makes me feel much better in daily life. So I just want to really say thank you for having me today.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Satomi, any comments?
Oh, thank you for inviting. Yeah, I'm so happy to join. I couldn't join from the beginning, but even like at last hour or maybe plus, that was so inspired. And I'm really, really happy to join this session. And I really wants to catch up with you. And really amazing. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. We have a lot of catch up to do.
Thank you for being here. Philip, anything else?
Yeah, super thankful for just inviting me, Yuka. Yeah, it's amazing to see, so much knowledge that you have. I remember we were just in the sessions and us kind of starting out, we're like very nervous, but you're a wealth of knowledge and it shows like the way you tell your stories and how authentic it is. It definitely resonates quite a lot. So yeah, I think it was Katia was seeing the same thing. Um, like you got it. So it's just a matter of taking action, and that's an encouragement for just how you kind of wove that story through this master class because it's encouraging to me too that I have to take those actions to take the next steps. So thank you.
Thank you. Let me help you in any way. We'll connect. Anybody else? Final last word? Cool. Yeah. Can I tell you how this happened?